Oh, blessed love to each and every one. Salamta. I'm very thankful that you could come and sit with us this day. You're in the zone, the tiger's nest. We glorify Emperor Haile Selassie the First in everything that is said and done. Of course, you know, Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, representing the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of the True Divine Salvation. Give thanks to the Black Christ in flesh, the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Marcus Messiah Garvey with us even at such an hour, talking about the hurricane and hurricane, and they're already speaking about the tropical waves even on the ocean side. Give thanks to the mother of creation with us, Empress Menin. We have a wonderful little sit down for you this moment here, this afternoon, really. In fact, in a few moments, we will be leaving. We are going on the summer solstice hike for this afternoon. But I said I needed to bring this to you. This is something that I've been telling you for a while, but the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda now, yesterday on his radio program, which is also broadcasted on Facebook, I wouldn't say admitted, I don't think he ever hid it, but he spoke of the fact that a Rastafari, Elder Kenya, right here in Antigua, saved his life as a 10-year-old child, where he could have actually died. So I'm going to go into that right now and give you his own account of that. We're going to have a wonderful sit down in the few moments I have with you. I'm just encouraging you to, definitely subscribe to the Shock of the Hour radio program. You know, tomorrow evening is another edition of the Shock of the Hour. And for those who do not know, the Shock of the Hour is a radio program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Definitely those who are subscribers, they receive our nightly broadcast via their emails. Every day they're going to get it. After the program is done, it appears in your inbox. You could be a monthly subscriber. You could definitely be a 6-month subscriber, or you could even be a yearly subscriber to the Shock of the Hour radio program. And remember, you could definitely get a week's free trial. That means specifically you don't got to pay for it. You know, there's no strings attached. You don't have to subscribe first and we give you an extra week. No. If you want to test out the Shock of the Hour, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com, and say, Priest, hey, I definitely want to be a part of the Shock of the Hour 1 week free trial. Let me hear how it sounds. And we definitely will deliver. All right. Hey, and keep in mind, as I said, we are going live in a few moments on the summer solstice experience, the sunset hike. And I already promised you, we have Paddy the Griot Simon with us. And when we return, I will be uploading some of what the brother Paddy the Griot Simon will be letting out today. Something that I'm sure you will full joy. Obviously, we ain't going to be able to give you everything. I'm talking about 3 hours basically of meditation and hiking and megaliths and so many different things that I have in store for you. Those of you who will not be with us live, we'll be giving you, a little, some snippets of the event. All right. But anyway, make sure you subscribe to the Shock of the Hour. And of course, remember that all of our books, our ebooks, are also available on the Amazon. Priest Isaac on the Amazon. All right, let us go to this now. And as I said, this is basically yesterday. And as you know, a few days ago, the first medicinal marijuana license was issued, and we did a program on that. And in fact, you're going to get all the information here. This is courtesy Point FM right here in Antigua and Barbuda. And this is the program known as the Browne and Browne Show with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Browne.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, something happened here in Antigua Barbuda a few days ago, an historic day here in this country. I think it was on the 14th. The first official cannabis license was handed over to the company Grow Antigua and Barbuda. The industry itself is expected to contribute at least 10% of our GDP, of our economy, And this Medicinal Cannabis Association is currently reviewing the application said to be valued at 30 million EC dollars. It is also expected that these industries will create more than 200 jobs. You just mentioned about jobs there with the renewable energy, especially for Barbudans in particular and other people, and it's going to be providing for the workers of the council, which means, Mr. Prime Minister, more or less we are diversifying the economy. I want you to expound on that. What are the gains that we are going to be received, the benefits that we're going to be receiving from this industry, the cannabis industry?
Right. You're correct that we have agreed to use the cannabis industry as one of the areas of diversification. The cannabis industry is projected to grow exponentially. Already it's worth billions of dollars, and we want to make sure that we position Antigua and Barbuda to exploit that space and to bring some of those profits to various stakeholders here in Antigua and Barbuda. As you indicated, we have issued the first marijuana or cannabis license to Brew Antigua, which is a partnership between NAMCO, that is the National Assets Management Company Limited. That is the company that holds all of the investments for the government and people of Antigua and Barbuda. The Rastafari Food for Life, which is a partnership between the Nyabingi as well as the Ras Freeman group or groups, and Itopia, which is represented by Andrew Moody Stewart. So that partnership is a public-private sector partnership in which the private sector controls the majority of the shares. The government, I believe, only has probably about 15%. And between the Rastafari group, Rastafari Food for Life, and Itopia, they control the other 85%. This industry obviously be heavily taxed, so we expect also to get a 15% ABSD on the sale of all marijuana products. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that this is a license to grow marijuana for medicinal use. They also have licenses to process and to distribute. And one of the requirements is that they must establish a seed to sale program in which they can literally track each seed, each marijuana seed, from the time it's planted up to the time it becomes a plant and when it's actually processed and sold, because we want to account for every single seed, every single plant. Now, marijuana is still a restricted substance in many countries, especially at the federal level within the United States. And Antigua and Barbuda still has certain treaty obligations, so we have to ensure that we manage this industry very well so we do not violate our treaty obligations. But we believe at some point, even at the federal level in the United States, that they will certainly lift the restrictions on marijuana and that it will become legal to obviously export marijuana to the United States. Now, the export market that we had anticipated initially, I mean, it's not as strong as we had anticipated. I mean, first of all, Canada, in which it is legal, they're providing or they're producing enough marijuana, I believe, to provide for their domestic demand. But within Antigua and Barbuda, and even within the Caribbean space, obviously there's a need for us to produce our own cannabis to satisfy our own domestic demands. And let me make the point here too that we are not advocating the use of cannabis. We do accept, though, that cannabis has been proven to have medicinal values, and it's not recent. This is dating back a couple of hundred years in which cannabis was utilized for a number of ailments. It was actually banned here back in 1973 based on certain international movements, but it was already proven long before that it has positive effects on certain ailments, epilepsy, glaucoma, and many others. So what we want to do is to exploit those medicinal uses. And at the same time, we have created a carve-out for the Rastafari group who utilize marijuana of the sacrament to make sure that, those who use marijuana for religious purposes, that they're not incriminated. one of the problems that we had prior to decriminalization of marijuana was that we had a lot of our youth who were actually incriminated, and they had to carry criminal records, which created a problem for them. Many of them could not enroll in universities, could not get a job because of their marijuana record. We have since agreed to expunge all of those, and clearly no one goes to prison now for spliff. That is something that existed for several decades in this country, in which something as simple as a spliff, we are literally incriminating our youth or criminalizing our youth. So that was totally unacceptable, and I'm pleased that my government was able to move to decriminalize marijuana and subsequently to legalize it for medicinal purposes. Now, I mean, the partnership here with Rastafari is created by the fact that, or from the fact that we did not charge for the licenses, and we have said that by waiving the fees, that is their equity in this company. So they didn't have to bring any cash to the table. We did a carve-out for them as a form of reparations, recognizing that Rastafari were brutalized, castigated, marginalized, you name it. I mean, they went through a lot of atrocities for several decades in the 1970s. I mean, I would have witnessed it as a little boy. I mean, actually I had many Rastafari friends, and I recall as a youth back in around 1977, somewhere around there, I used to be around the Itel shop on Lower Bishopgate Street that was operated by King Frankai Tafari and this guy Lumba. I think he's somewhere in Canada now. So I was a little handy boy who will wash the calabash and so on to get a piece of jet bread. Sometimes they want a little high leaf and so on high leaf is tobacco, to mix with the cannabis. So I will go hunting, trying to find a little high leaf plant, because if you get that, you're bingo, you get a piece of jet bread. So I've been around them, but there are times when I observe that when the cops came, Babylon show up, man start to scatter. And Babylon used to beat them and so on, brutalize them. I believe maybe at least one Rastafari would have gotten killed from a beating, or died as a result of beatings from a killing. Died as a result of beatings from these police officers. Yes. So, I saw the discrimination of Rastafari. So, it's interesting that I could have witnessed that as a youth, and then subsequently became Prime Minister to provide some relief for Rastafari so they don't have to live under those conditions and to have police literally discriminating against them, harassing them. Rastafari saved my life as well. I mean, I didn't remember to mention that at the ceremony. So when I was about 9-10 years old, somewhere around there, I almost got electrocuted. A group of us used to play football in the old Goodwin schoolyard, and apparently the electric wire to the school fell. And I was the first to get there one morning at about 6 a.m. The wire was not insulated. I thought it was a clothesline. So I held the wire, I was passing, held the wire, I think it was a little ordinary piece of wire. And the thing held on to me, burnt out the back of my arm. I still have the scar, big scar. The entire back of my hand was actually burnt out. Wow. I mean, if you have maybe you can even pull it up here, because I still have it. These are the marks that make me. I don't know if you can see them, comrade.
Mm-hmm. No? Yes. I've seen it before, as a matter of fact. Yes, I'm seeing it now. And for those of you on Facebook, I guess you can see that as well. Yeah, wow. Go ahead, Prime Minister.
So, I was there. Strange enough, I didn't cry. I mean, I couldn't let go of the wire. I remember one gentleman came and he had a piece of stick and he was telling me to let it go. I mean, my hands were actually locked in it and it was burning out the back of my hand. And I didn't cry. I was there praying. I mean, I said to the Lord, I asked him to please save my life and so on, and I didn't want to die. But I was praying at the top of my voice. So this Rastafari by the name of Kenya, still alive. He actually lives in Fort Road, works at the port. He heard me, literally praying. And he said he thought, boy, one of them youth messing around. Anyway, he decided to take a look. Next thing the man saw me under the wire, literally passing out. went back in, got his axe, and came back and cut the wire. Otherwise, I would have been a dead child.
Wow.
And as I said, the Rastafari who did that for I and I. So for me, I have a lot of respect and lots of gratitude for Rastafari. So for me, this engagement is not about seeking votes. I mean, it's about literally protecting a marginalized set of people who are castigated for wrong reasons. Now, we do accept that marijuana abuse will create.
I wouldn't even want to go no more into that. That's almost a different subject. So definitely give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I, about 2 years ago or so. I took that very same prime minister here to the pinnacle of Green Castle Hill. It was myself and Zephaniah Zugu and the princess and the prince, and him and his entourage. And when he came to the eternal city, for those of you again who will be with us in a few hours, when he came to the eternal city amongst the megaliths, his belt buckle just popped off and fell on the ground. In fact, he was the one that alerted me to that. He said, "Priest, look, my belt buckle," and it was a Levi, Levi, like the priest. He said, "Priest, look, my belt buckle fall off. What that mean?" Yeah, him, the prime minister of the land, coming to Green Castle Hill with I. Bang, just fly off, What I'm saying, the Quran talks about clear signs. There's some things they call clear signs, things that you just cannot deny. The elder that he speaks of, Elder Kenya, is one of the early Rastafari amongst I and I. You're not seeing him in none of these pictures here. You'd hardly see him like that. He is one of the most humble individual, I've said this before, you could ever meet. And as an elder at this time, I mean, he has set his record well proper. Eh? Very humble, even amongst the elders. He's the elder that no other elder have a problem with. Yeah, so you can understand. And whatever he did to relieve the prime minister from the shock that he was getting of the hour, the crafty mind that the brother has. He's a high technician. He's a supreme welder. He's a top designer. He can make anything out of anything. I'm telling you, he's like the Rastafari MacGyver, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking of Kenya. Kenya, he would make bicycles out of scrap metal. Different things he would make. He can make a gun out of scrap metal. I'm just telling you what he can do. So obviously he's a genius, and he has been a genius on that level since a youth. And as one of the early Rastafari, yet still carrying a humble spirit, even how he looks is just humility, Brother Kenya, And interestingly, in them last several years, he turbaning up and hailing King Emmanuel. As a Bingi, him revived Bingi around here when Bingi died, Kenya. So if the prime minister talking about being a 9-year-old youth and this Rasta man saved his life, Ras Kenya, what I mean? I'm not the PM. I don't know exactly what's going on in his account, but trust me, a man like Kenya shouldn't even want anything once Prime Minister Gaston Browne, is around. I am telling you, for sure. I don't know what happens behind the scene. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, the fact that you could even testify that that man who's still alive with us today saved your life to the world. What is it that you would withhold from him? And again, it's a humble man. He never tell them. I never hear him tell a story, and I know that. And to be very honest, I don't get no impression that, Santa Claus has come around this way lately. And again, I mean, don't get me wrong, the elder is Irie, elder is a man that works and take care of himself, Ain't nothing that the elder lacking him. Don't get me wrong, and he's very humble. So, and I don't know what is happening behind the scenes. And he's a man that maybe would refuse things. That's how humble he is. But I'm just saying, just on the record, you can't chastise me for saying that. For that man to save your life and you're in that position, there's nothing you should withhold from that man that is in your power that can be given, in all honesty. And I think that's a very fair statement. I think everyone would agree. But anyway, outside of that, definitely give thanks. As the PM said, he was praying. He was praying to God to send an angel. I don't know if all that was in it, but basically that's the moral of the story. To send an angel to come and save his life so he can come and, be the head of parliament and run the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. And an angel came, Yeah, the bishop didn't come in. Yeah. Pastor Floyd didn't show up. Reverend Hook didn't jump out of his wagon and sprinkle some holy water. Oh man, he would fry you. Nah, man. Rastafari came and saved the day. This is Anu. Ancient and modern. Nothing happens by chance. And speaking of that, let me leave you to continue that discussion amongst yourself. As I said, we're definitely homing into Greencastle Hill at this moment. And definitely for sure, as I said before, you can still join us. Remember, even what has passed already, I'm talking about the morning hike, which was on Friday morning, and Friday of Rising, and of course the cannabis tour and lecture with the Chalice Talk. Many of you got a bit of the Chalice Talk in our YouTube's Chalice Talk the other day. Of course, that was wonderful. You could get the full version of that. I'm talking of hours. We have already clocked hours, my family, as it relates to the summer solstice experience. It has been a wonderful experience thus far. I'm telling you, that morning hike was so nice, so sweet, I'm telling you. And I know today, this evening hike is going to be massive and very powerful. The Nyabingi drummers are going to be there. As I said, our royal guest, I'm talking about Paddy the Griot Simon, will be giving us enough information as it relates to Greencastle, the area, and some Antiguan history for sure, going in depth, and of course, amongst the megaliths. So remember, you could still be a part of today, the live event. You could still get the whole summer solstice. And hey, if you're listening to this video after everything is done, the package is still available. The link is still available. The price is still the same. All you have to do is email us, specifically priestisaac27@gmail.com, or you can even make your payments using the Cash App, which is Atonra 2723, ATONRA 2723. And of course, remember, when you make these payments, definitely still contact us via the email priestisaac27@gmail.com, so we can definitely send you the key right away. All right, definitely give thanks for your love. And remember, if you do not have that Cash App, we can still make even arrangements for some other form of money transaction to take place. Yeah, wonderful. So Greencastle Hill in a moment, the setting of the summer solstice beginning, or give thanks to the alignments. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari.